You're listening to the Blue Raider Podcast, presented by Gold's Gym of Tennessee. Your all-access pass to everything Middle Tennessee sports, game recaps, player spotlights, and the latest from the heart of Blue Raider Nation. Now, here's your host, Jay Golden.
Welcome back to the Blue Raider Podcast and today's Friday special Behind Enemy Lines episode where we're going to learn everything about our 100 miles of hate enemy that is the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. Joining us is Tyler Bailey of the Topper Talk podcast. But before we get into today's episode, let's thank our sponsor. Today's episode is sponsored by Gold's Gym of Tennessee, and the new year is coming, and so are your resolutions. So Gold's Gym of Tennessee is here to help you hit the ground running with brand new month-to-month pricing starting November 1st. And the best part, there's no fees, ever. So pick the plan that fits your crew. You can go gold for one member at $25 bi-weekly, or you and your partner can upgrade to the VIP, which is $35 billed bi-weekly, or you and your family, good enough for 3 members, is just $45 bi-weekly. And here's another perk. All the memberships include access to all 16 Gold's Gym locations. So whether you're lifting, spinning, or training for a brand new you, they've got you covered with all of their locations across the state of Tennessee. So don't wait for January 1st to start your resolution today. Join online or stop by your local Gold's Gym of Tennessee and kick off the new year with no fees and full access to fitness. Gold's Gym of Tennessee. Stronger starts now. Now joining us on the Blue Raider Podcast, it is our friend, or I guess I should say enemy this week, Tyler Bailey of Topper Talk. Tyler, thanks for joining us.
Hey, man. Thank you for having me. I know this is kind of a quick thing, but thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
Absolutely. My relationship with Topper Talk is great. I hate that we always have this week where we have some banter back and forth. But the thing is this season feels a little lackluster, much like it has for a couple years now. And even going into last year's game, there was a little bit of energy. It was early in the year. You think, maybe MTSU, because of the new coaching staff, you might find your opportunity to really pull one across. But Helton's been consistent. All things considered, they're 5-1 right now. I always make the joke when Steven's on here that for whatever reason, Bowling Green wants their coach fired. But if he was fired, I'd love to have him in Murfreesboro. But Tyler, give me the gist. What is the sensation like in Bowling Green heading into this game?
Well, this rivalry that we have, it's so historic, and it's great for both schools. I mean, I remember whenever I was a student at Western, I absolutely hated y'all. I was full of piss and vinegar. This week, it's no different. A lot of the fans, a lot of people on social media, you can tell the disdain. And this is tough because, yes, y'all haven't been very good this season, and that's whenever a team can sneak up behind you and really just mess up your season. And I think that's really what y'all are doing. Is could be going for a spoiler. I certainly hope not, but I feel like Houchin Smith Stadium would be very disappointed if that was the case come Saturday.
The storyline that has been following MTSU all season long, except for last week with the blowout loss to FIU, is they continue to lose these conference games by one possession. Now, albeit a lot of those are at home, but going to Bowling Green has its own challenges. But what does, in terms of this game, not getting out of hand for Western like we saw with FIU, what was the difference maker for you guys in your conference winning streak versus what has happened like at FIU where that game just got away and you really were never able to claw yourself back? What's the difference for you guys?
I honestly don't know. Yes, we both lost to FIU. It seemed like our offense could not. That was a game that the wheels just came off the Corvette, if you would. And I'm making a Bowling Green reference there. Offense could not get nothing going. Defense, we let FIU put up 25 points whenever they shouldn't put up, 10. Their game plan just came out and messed us up, completely mucked it up. But then after that, Maverick, our quarterback that everyone was really looking forward to, he has a shoulder injury. We got this backup quarterback, dude coming in playing the lights out. And I think that's one thing that's really sparked it. And our run defense has gotten a lot better. That used to be one of our Achilles tendons or Achilles heels, but our guys will stop the run. They get back there in the backfield and get sacks on top of sacks. And I just feel like we got so many weapons on that team, and I'm sure we'll go into it here in just a few minutes, but we have so many weapons on our offense that, we should be putting up a lot more points. And I think we're starting to.
Well, let's dive into some of the names. I know you prefaced the quarterback situation there. Maverick McIver going down with a shoulder injury about a month ago at this rate. I think the news is Tisdale is still going to make the start for you guys. How do you feel with Rodney Tisdale? I mean, he's fresh off of a Conference USA Freshman of the Week where he threw for over 300 and 4 touchdowns at New Mexico State, which, again, you can't bat an eye at that. And also, I don't let me miss this, beating La Tech, one of the best defenses in Conference USA. I mean, all things considered, the guy has 2 good wins against 2 good defenses.
Yes, and unlike the quarterbacks we've had in the past, I feel like he's not a power runner. He will shift you and get out of the pocket if the pocket does collapse, or if it could be just a design run. But he likes to get out and go. He's quick, he's agile, and he will take some hits. But the boy's a water bug, and he like you preference, he can throw the ball. But at La Tech, he was our leading rusher, and I don't think it was really close. I think he had like 78 rushing yards by himself. The guy is just a beast. On the season, he's got, well, we'll talk about that. But the dude is a great player. He's a great leader. Coming out against La Tech, and coach went for the 2-point conversion. Unless he has absolute confidence in that guy, you would not throw a redshirt freshman making his first career start on the road. You just wouldn't do that. And so that really opened everyone's eyes up of what Rodney Tisdale can do. Our running back room has 3 main rushers. The leading is Marvis Parrish. He has 68 carries, 325 yards, 0 touchdowns, but we got 2 power backs. And one you'll remember from last year, George Hart III. He's also a threat coming out of the backfield, but Lavelle Wright. He has 50 carries on the season, 243 yards, 6 touchdowns. If it's short yardage, Lavelle's going in, and he will run through you, run over you. That's one good thing I like about him. We have a good dynamic. George Hart and Lavelle's more of the power runners. Marvis Parrish likes to get around them edges, and he's gone. So, I mean, those are your 2 main ones. Now we will run some wildcat, which we have with Lavelle. And it's worked sometimes it don't. But those, and then of course we'll have some jet sweeps and stuff like that. But those are the 3 main rushers. But add 4 with Rodney Tisdale. Then you go down to receivers. You got Matthew Henry. He started the season as the number 1, if you want to say that, number 1 main target. Katie Hutchinson, it really came on. Guy's been here multiple years. He actually has more receptions than Henry. He don't have as many yards. He does have 3 touchdowns where Henry's got 5. Henry's got 35 receptions, 568 yards. He's great at catching them hard to reach balls, or balls that you think you shouldn't be able to. Matthew will go up and get it. And KD has some good trick catches as well. KD's got 43 receptions, 490 yards, three touchdowns. Earlier on, we wasn't really using too much of our tight ends, but the last few games we really have. Jackson West, he's been out there. Jerry Smack, another good wide receiver. Like I said, we just got plenty of weapons. Musa Berry, he actually went to the transfer last year, transfer portal. We got him back. Dude's been playing great. Cameron Flyers, Kelby Williams, Quincy Burrows. Those are all names of guys who have a touchdown, but they also can make them big play threats.
The wide receiver room has always been impressive, to say the least, as long as Helton's been there. Matthew Henry and Barry, like you touched on, 2 guys that I think kind of fit that mold of guys we've seen in years past. And Katie Hutchinson is the perfect slot guy that I like. I like that type of player that Katie Hutchinson is. We have a guy, Cam Lacey, who's very similar to that. So the one thing that scares me for Conference USA is if Helton finds himself another quarterback, and that guy is Tisdale, which at this rate it seems to be. If you're able to keep Hutchinson and Barry, man, this offense could be lights out next year. But I don't want to get too far ahead of myself in that conversation. With Tisdale at quarterback now, after the La Tech game, I thought, okay, Western's going to want to run the football. Then after New Mexico State, okay, now clearly they are confident in their quarterback. Do you think there's a clear strength here, or is the strength in the fact that they can be balanced?
I think, before Tisdale got in there, obviously the strength was passing. Since he's starting now, it's really balanced. Teams used to not respect our rushing game. They drop back 7, 8 guys sometimes. But now, since we got, four guys that can run the ball and hurt you, they're having to put more guys up on the line, or at least cover up the A gap and the gaps and all that stuff. So, I would say it's more even now than it was in years past.
So defensively, Western, as always, fields a really good, strong defensive front. I know you lost some guys in the portal this last year, but you still fielded a really good team, top 4 in Conference USA in terms of scoring defense. Who are some names that Raider fans should keep an eye on?
Well, you got linebacker Jalen Wester and linebacker Anthony Brackenridge. Both of them guys are top 2 tacklers. Jalen Wester's got 25 solo, 58 total. He's got 1 pass deflected, 1 forced fumble. Anthony Brackenridge has 22 solo, 44 total tackles. Also 1 pass deflected and 1 forced fumble. The guy, we have made a lot of opposing QBs miss, some plays, maybe a complete half this season. Our guys are some hard hitters. Our defense over the season, we got 3 forced fumbles, 3 fumble recoveries. We got 7 interceptions. The turnover tops ain't like it was, of years prior, but the guys will hit hard and hopefully, I'm not hoping anybody gets hurt, but that's one thing that our guys can do. You look at Harper Holloman, he's our defensive end. He can get into the backfield. He's got 2 sacks for 10 yards, 4 pass defended. Machiavelli, I'm not going to pronounce his last name because it's Hawaiian, and I simply can't. I'm not going to disrespect him like that. He's one of the big centers. He's a big guy. He's got 9 solo tackles, 27 total, 1 sack. Nazir Ward, he's a defensive back, and Dave Herrard. Both of those guys, and Jalen Lewis, both of them 3 guys are defensive backs, and they will get up there, deflect the balls. They will bring them down, and when it does, hopefully they take them back to the house.
The fumbles force was an area of concern last week for MTSU, obviously coughing the football up 3 times via the fumble, but Western being on the bottom half of Conference USA in terms of forcing those fumbles, but still a respectable secondary with their interception total at 7. Is there an area that the defense is maybe weaker than the other?
Weaker. Coming into this, I'd probably say our run defense. But like I said, that has gotten a little bit better. I would honestly tell you one of the best things we got going on defense right now is our red zone defense. The Hilltoppers are holding teams to field goals on 47% of red zone trips. That's second in FBS behind Indiana. And they've only allowed TDs on 38% of red zone trips. That's best for 5th in FBS. If it's hard to get it across that line once you get into that red zone against Western. Last year last year our defensive backs was good. This year, I would say they're probably the same. That we haven't let too many chunk plays really get behind us. I know last year, if we talk about the MTSU game, I'll still say our rush defense is probably the weakest defensive part that we got. Other than that, I feel like the defense is pretty stout.
And that's a storyline from a Blue Raiders perspective we're keeping an eye on, because with your schedule in particular, you haven't played Jack State, who is the best running offense in Conference USA by a long shot. So you don't have that feather in your cap. But a lot of these teams that you have played, speaking of Sam Houston, New Mexico State, La Tech for that matter, offenses that aren't very good at running the football, but then FIU, who has Keyshawn Owens, who does have a good rusher, that is the difference maker in the one Conference USA loss you have. So I know that's one that I in particular am eyeing about, but I've already gone on my tangent before we recorded. We're not going to run the football, at least not enough that I think it's going to matter. But again, if I were scouting this game out, I would have to think that is the area where maybe you could there's a glaring weakness there, because the secondary, all things considered, you kept Jenkins at bay when FIU was there in Bowling Green. It's just a matter of containing Keyshawn Owens. But I digress. Let's get into our keys to the game. And, of course, this segment is sponsored by Trevor Haggard, the State Farm, because when life happens, you want someone in your corner who actually knows your name, and that's where Trevor Haggard of State Farm comes in. Whether it's protecting your car, your home, or your family's future, Trevor and his team are right here in Murfreesboro, ready to help. So don't just settle for some 1-800 number. Call a neighbor who cares. Call Trevor Haggard State Farm today at 615-203-5522 or visit their website at trevorismyagent.com and let them help you protect what matters most. Trevor Haggard State Farm, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Tyler, over to you. The Trevor Haggard keys to the game. What are the 2 keys for the Hilltoppers this Saturday if they want to win?
All right, so we're going to have to start fast. That's been and protect the ball. Start fast, protect the ball. Y'all have 8 forced fumbles with 8 fumble recoveries. That's something that we definitely could hurt us. But starting fast has been another thing that has bugged us all season. We wouldn't score sometimes until midway through the second quarter. If you have a high octane, fast-paced offense, you have to get into the end zone. So those are going to be my 2 keys to victory for the Tops.
If you could give me a little rundown, why do you think that is? Why the slow starts? That is. Why do you think? What hinders that offense early?
Well, it seems like this year some of the offensive play calling has really hindered us. Like just bad passes. I know earlier in the season, Maverick would throw into double, triple coverage sometimes. Or you'd have some passes out to the flats, and that would get stopped up. Our run game just wasn't really there, so we was forced to pass the ball. I feel like those are our main reasons for the slow start. I mean, you look at the Toledo game, I think our first 2 drives were both turnovers. And then you look at FIU, we just couldn't get no offense going no matter what. So one of my keys to the victories all season long has been to start fast because we just cannot seem to get it going that first quarter. Against La Tech, against New Mexico State, it did get better, but that's always been one of our little bugaboos. It's just that starting fast or empty drives the first quarter and a half, maybe halftime before we get a actual touchdown. It'd just be like a field goal. And if you only have 1 field goal going into halftime, that's not good. So I guess that's just been it right there.
Speaking from experience here from MTSU's perspective, if what the score is at halftime will be telling of what kind of football game we're going to have. I know that's probably obvious, but when MTSU puts themselves in a situation where it is a close football game in the 3rd and 4th quarter, they tend to make it a football game until late. So I would say if you're looking at this, again, from a 1,000-foot view, the first quarter will be telling what kind of football game both of these teams are going to have. I like to think there's going to be some sort of chess match early on, just given the rivalry, the fact that Western, again, wants to obviously play their game, not heat himself to what is the 100 miles of hate and make it bigger than it needs to be. I think you play your football game, Western Kentucky, by all means, is the better football team. But Tyler, the second portion here is the X factor or impact player for the Hilltoppers. Who are you looking at to have the biggest impact on Saturday?
I'm going to go again with Rodney Tisdale. Even though he's only been starter for 2 games, this will be his 3rd career start. The dude's got ice in his veins. Dude's been playing good, and like I said, not only can he stay in the pocket and pass the ball, but he can also get out, get around the edge, or at least find some way up the middle. And he's gone. At La Tech, he did have some hiccups. He did get sacked a few times. One that was completely noticeable. I don't know why he didn't do something, but he stood in the pocket. He took the big hit. He's not scared of it. And he really got a lot of people's attention in that La Tech game when he stood tall in the pocket, got out and rushed, and then going for that 2-point conversion, obviously. And then to come and play New Mexico State and have 300-plus passing yards, rushing yards, the dude is it. The dude, I think, could be the future for Hilltopper basketball going forward if he does not transfer.
I think that guy's going to be a problem, to say the least, for a lot. And the biggest thing is, are you able to hang on to him? Like that's the other big piece to this puzzle. He's young, and the guy is gutsy. Like I said, that if you have any opportunity to go back and watch the end of that La Tech game, I gave the Hilltoppers no shot on the road in Ruston to win that football game. And you said it best. If you have the type of trust and confidence in a freshman to go out there and on a 2-point conversion on the road and on national television, that speaks volumes for what that kid's potential is going to be. But to this game on Saturday, 2:30 p.m. kickoff at Bowling Green. I think weather is going to be just fine. I think it's going to be mid-70s. It'll be nice after this brief cold snap we all experienced. Thank God that's over with. But 13.5-point favorites, Western Kentucky. I think that's the biggest underdog total the Blue Raiders have faced this year in Conference USA, that is. The over-under at 54.5. Tyler, how do you see this one shaking up? Vegas has this as a blowout. Do you you think that's true?
I sure as hell hope so. Hopefully this don't get caught into a nail biter, or what Randy Lee likes to say on the radio, Tums tosser. Hopefully we go in there, we take care of the business, and the good guys come out with a win. Of course, good guys being home team, go Tops. But yeah, I think Western's probably gonna win this game comfortably. I don't want to disrespect a football team because it came back and bit me in the ass a few years ago, or if I'm allowed to cuss, I'm sorry. It came back and bit me. It's something that I said on air against New Mexico State, and I still have nightmares every time we play them. But yeah, I hope that Western comes out. I thought about this. Of course, I think we probably won't keep y'all out of the end zone. I think y'all score two touchdowns. But give us Tops winning 42-14. And I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I'm going to say I have been known to overshoot my score predictions this season, and it can be a lot closer than that. But, I hope this is what it is.
You're all over the Vegas line that is at the 54.5. I think that's 56 in total. So you're barely on the over. And I think what's funny about it is you've entrusted the Hilltoppers to be the ones that push the over, because I think you're kind of spot on there. I'd like to think it could be a nail biter just because of the rivalry of it all. But I can tell you from Murfreesboro perspective, it is it's not positive. But Tyler, man, I appreciate you. And of course, Steven over at Topper Talk, you guys always push out good content. Tell the fans that are listening where we can find you, where we can find the podcast. And then I know you guys have your weekly uploads. What days are those? And two, I know that I said this would be your last opportunity to talk. Give us a little preview of Topper basketball. I know both programs are going through some new looks right now. I think your men have been better than probably advertised, and the ladies are having some growing pains, but they have a good win under their belt. So I guess in all encompassing here, give me the rundown, following you on socials and a little rundown on basketball.
All right, yeah. So on Twitter or X, if you would, I'm Big Bailey 730. You can find me or Moth at Topper_talk. We're on all the major, at Spotify, Apple. We're on YouTube. We try to record a Monday or Tuesday if we have a Saturday game. So it typically comes out Wednesday, maybe Thursday, or typically Wednesday. We do recap. We do a preview. We broke those into 2 episodes right now. But if anybody wants to come up and listen to us bad guys just north of the line, hey, I'm always down for a listen, for a share, for a comment, for a like, thumbs up, whatever. But yes, Topper basketball, dude. After we lost the majority of our team last year, I think we only had, last year we had a lot of injuries. One of our main players is back. But we got some freshmen, some Kentucky kids. Armello Boone against EKU. He had a home. He's from like Lexington area, so he really had a homecoming, if you want to call it that, up at EKU. Dude, our offense, our shooting is not really there right now. 3-point wise, we're not shooting really good, but man, our defense is spot on, and our guys can break you down, get into the lane. We got some playmakers. We got Coach Plano just went out there and got all new guys. It's going to be something fun to watch. Hopefully we're a lot better than what we was last year, and we get to return to the NCAA tournament.
It's always good when this rivalry is really where the roots are, and that's hardwood. So I hope, obviously, for competitive, I think both programs have really surprised themselves with how good this rosters can be. But Tyler, once again, man, I appreciate you taking the time to join us, and thanks to you, the listener, for tuning into today's episode. If you're not already following us on our social medias at Blue Raider Pod on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and of course X and Twitter at Blue Raider Pod. And if you're listening to us on our YouTube live stream, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss another one of our episodes. Of course, hoop season is right around. We're in the thick of it at this point, so you don't want to miss those uploads on our Tuesday episodes. And of course, as football season rolls along, we'll continue to have our Friday Behind Enemy Lines segments. But thanks again for tuning in, and until next time, go Blue.